and welcome to my channel. I am Stephanie. This is the week 44, you guys. Oh my goodness, the year is almost over. October the 25th through the 31st. Okay, so has anyone else just felt so good after taking a shower? I mean, like, I don't know what it is. Like, I don't do anything really with the face, right? But for some reason, after taking a shower, throwing some lotion on it, you know, putting a little cocoa butter on the face, and things like that, I just feel so much better. And I think I may have missed a step last week because I definitely felt like I was a little tired. I mean, we were pretty busy last week, but this weekend we got to like rest and things like that, even though it was Halloween weekend. And my child tried to like turn on the light and we were like, what are you doing? Turn off that light. No, we're not doing the light thing. Turned off the light, and then he was like, oh, we're turning off the light, so this really means that I get to eat the candy that you guys bought. And then he proceeded to try and sit on our couch and binge the candy that we had purchased, that the husband had purchased, thinking I was going to let them open the door to strangers. No. No, I am all for trying to get back to normal, trying to, you know, do what is best for everyone. But at the same time, I know that there's going to be another wave coming at some point. I mean, we already have a rise of cases and things like that. But at the same time, we do have an increase of testing and people being preventative of, you know, what is going on in the world. Oh my goodness. Yes. But at the same time, we still have idiots out there that are just doing their own thing. And I'm sorry, I'm not going to trust my family's health to anyone else. So yeah, if you're not a close family friend or you're not someone that I can trust that has not been out there exposing themselves, not wearing their mask properly or wearing it consistently, you might as well forget seeing this face in person anytime soon. Because when I go out, if I'm getting out of my car to go anywhere public where there might be actual other people, I am donning my mask. It's happening. I put it on in the car, as a matter of fact, and then I walk across the parking lot because you just never know who you might stop and see in that parking lot. I don't wait until I get into the, like, near the building to put it on, like my husband, which I kind of want to yell at him about. I'm like, Dave, if you get out the car, put the mask on. The mask on. Yeah, no? Okay, so I don't know what I'm going to do because that unboxing was pretty long, so I think I'm probably just going to cut out the unboxing portion of this week's video, and you guys are probably just jumping from lifestyle to now what I read last week. So I started off the week by reading The Summoning, which is the Vampire Trials #1 by Storm Song. This is a paranormal romance. I give it 3.5 stars. I give it 2 Steam fans, and I totally wrote it wrong in my book. 2 Steam fans, read it as an ebook, and this is a Black author. It is sort of a mix between vampires, if you put them in the Hunger Games, and it is a reverse harem, which I think was done in a very good way. So you have Scarlet, who is chosen to run in these trials that they do, and then she ends up meeting Drax, Colt, Flynn, and Max. All 3 of those guys have a special thing that's going on with them. 3 of them are vampires, 1 happens to be a witch, and they go through this first level of like the Hunger Games sort of thing, the first trials, and then it leaves on a cliffhanger, and you need to read the next book to find out what happens next. So there's that. The one thing that kind of got a little repetitive and a little annoying is that everyone's clothes seem to just fall off. There was no unrobing. Once we got to a steamy sex scene, or sexy times, the clothes just fell off. Yep, her clothes fell off. His clothes fell off. Their clothes fell off. So it was like, do clothes just fall off of people in this world? I guess they do. Yes. But I did enjoy the whole build-up of the whole Hunger Games sort of feel and trials and things that they had to go through. But it definitely felt very inspired by Hunger Games. Just putting that out there. The next book that I read was The Roommate by Rosie Danan. This is I'm releasing it in New Adult. I give it 3.25 stars. Give it 3 Steam fans. I had it as an ARC, but I listened to it as an audiobook, and I am of the unpopular opinion this is not the greatest book ever. It got too heavy-handed with the social issues that are tackled within the book. There was only one really, really steamy moment where there was a mutual masturbation scene that was flippin' hot. That was like super hot. But other than that, everything else was just sort of on the cusp of being steamy, I guess you could say. And then on top of it, the social issues were just kind of, it overwhelmed the story. It didn't necessarily feel like it was a romance between who is it, Clara and Josh, and I was just like So I went and I actually saw a couple other booktubers that have read this and have really enjoyed it, what have you, and they sort of place it in that whole same feeling that they had when they read The Hating Game. Well, I wasn't a big fan of The Hating Game. I was of an unpopular opinion about that one as well. It's not the like be all end all of all things. So that is probably why I'm not the be-all end-all and super hyped about this one either. The next book that I read was Flirting with Fire, which is Blue Collar Brother #1 by Piper Rayne. I placed this in contemporary. Give it 4.25 stars. Give it 3 Steam fans. Read it as an audiobook. I looked at this cover and was like, I needed it. I think this is what I need in my life right now. So, this follows 3 brothers. This story actually follows the oldest brother, but you're introduced and aware of the other brothers within the family. It's a big Italian family. They do go over a lot about how the family immigrated from Italy to the United States and how they have this, sandwich shop and everything like that. But this one specifically follows the oldest brother, who is a firefighter, and there is an overarching sort of story dynamic about the fires that are happening within their city and things like that. But Madison and Morrow actually went to school together. He was a senior, she was a sophomore, I believe it was. They ended up at a party together when they were younger, and she ended up driving him home and he was drunk, and they shared a kiss, and then they grow up and then they re-meet each other, but for some reason or another he doesn't remember her, but he is auctioned off to her from her friends, and you also get to meet her friends as well. So it's like a huge overarching of stories. And yes, I did continue to read on. But I really enjoyed the family aspect of the story, and this whole like thing, just the whole thing. Yeah, just gonna leave it at that. Then I read Fueled, which is Driven #2 by Bromberg. Placed this in contemporary as well. Give it 3 stars. Give it 4 Steam fans. It was quite steamy. Quite steamy. Listen to it as an audiobook, and there is massive content warning right off the bat, like first like 10 or 15 minutes of the audiobook for child sexual abuse, for child abuse, for possible cheating. That's not until later on in the book, but possible or perception of cheating. Yeah. This definitely was a story. Now, I mean, once I started it, I was like, why did I want to read the second book? Why? Then I started reading it and was like, okay, I wanted to know more about Riley and Colton and how they ended up becoming a, relationship, because I think there's like 6 books in this series and I kind of want to go through their journey. But at the same time, I definitely feel the datedness of this for when it was written. It was written during the big boom of 50 Shades and all things sort of like that. And you can definitely feel it as I'm reading it now. So the ending makes me want to go and read the next book, because the ending is a huge cliffhanger. I'm just going to put that out there. I'm not spoiling anything. I'm not telling you what the cliffhanger is, but it's a damn cliffhanger, guys. It is like, had I read it in 2013 or 14 when this book was published, I would have like threw a big old hissy fit and been mad and all kinds of just rage monster, right? But now that, it's years later and all the books are out and things like that, I could just go and get it. But yeah, that cliffhanger is just like, woo, snaps your head back, because there's some things that happen before the cliffhanger that I was just like, I'm not feeling this. I'm not going to finish with the series. And then the cliffhanger happens. And I'm probably going to finish this series. Plus, this one and the next one. So books 2 and books 3 are now being filmed over for Passionflix, which I need to go and subscribe to. So I'm going to have to read it. I'm going to have to read it, because then I want to watch the movies and see how it all sort of plays out, right? The next book that I finished was Crushing on the Cop, which is Blue Collar Brother number 2 by Rayne. Place this one in contemporary as well. Give it 4.25 stars. Give it 3 Steam fans. Listen to it as an audiobook. And this follows the middle brother, who happens to be in law enforcement, is a cop, and one of the other friends, her name is Vanessa, his name is Christian, and the two of them have to come together. She plays hard to get because she is the commissioner's daughter and he's on the police force. So there's a lot of places removed where it really wouldn't matter that he's dating the commissioner's daughter, or commander's daughter, or something like that. He's high up. He's high up, in other words. That it wouldn't be a real issue for him to be dating his daughter. But at the same time, Vanessa is like very independent and has always been under her family's sort of thumb of, not being, she's been, not that she hasn't been doted on, she's been doted on, but her mother dies when she's younger, so she has missed that whole sort of mother figure. And Christian's mom is like amazing through all these stories. And like I said, the family dynamic is amazing. Mwah, chef's kiss. So chef's kiss. And in dealing with all of that, it was just really, really pleasant to see this whole hard to get sort of break down the walls of, the cop, of the, girl that doesn't have a mom type thing. And yeah, I was here for it. The next book that I finished was Engaged to the EMT, because the ending of Crushing on the Cop, you couldn't not read the very next book, which is Engaged to the EMT, Blue Collar Brothers number 3 by Rayne. Places in contemporary as well. Give it 4.25 stars. Give it 3 Steam fans. Listen to it as an audiobook. And my one really glaring big thing that I have wrong with this is that there was such a huge open ending that I'm just like, excuse me, Rayne, I'm gonna need you to write a little more. I need an epilogue, or I need another book, or I need something, because that ending just didn't work for me. But like, really, I need more. So this one follows Luca, who is the youngest brother, and you have been hearing about his playboy ways through the other 2 books, and this is his book with his sort of hated, but not really hated, love interest, Lauren, and the 2 of them were big rivals throughout school. So the friends, the girlfriends, Lauren, Vanessa, and Madison, have known these brothers, Mauro, Christian, and Luca, for all of their lives and have grown up with them, and the whole family dynamic is here, right? So when Luca and Lauren end up going on a date, you sort of see they get engaged. It's in the title, they get engaged. So and then the reasons behind them getting engaged was very sweet and very telling, and their whole crushing on each other comes to light and reasons behind it, and I really enjoyed the book. But that ending, yeah, I'm gonna need more. So Piper Rayne, if you watch this video and you hear my thoughts on all three of those books, I'm gonna need you to write a fourth book, please. Thank you very much. The next book that I finished was All Scot and Bothered, which is Devil You Know #2 by Kerrigan, Byrne, and give it 4.25 stars. Give it 2.5 Steam fans. Had it as an ARC, listened to it as an audiobook, and there are content warnings for child abuse, sexual abuse, neglect, assault. There's quite a few things. But what I can say is that this book is action-packed. So I was a little off-put because I had read How to Love a Duke in 10 Days last year, I believe it was. I had a sort of disconnect of what was actually going on in the story. So this is an overarching 3-book series about the Red Rogues, and Cecilia is a Red Rogue, and if you read the first book, then you will understand what the Red Rogues are. Well, Cecilia ends up getting, this is her story about how she became a Red Rogue and what's happening with her since building that sort of, I guess, family, sorority, fraternity type thing going on there. And if you've read the first book, then you'll understand that whole not knowing if you want to call it a fraternity or a sorority type thing. Yeah, there's that. So she inherits a kind of gambling hell. I think that's the term that is used in this time frame for it. But there are murders, there are child kidnappings and prostitution going on, and Chief Justice Ramsey has been tasked to make sure that this gets taken care of and it comes to an end, because trafficking little children is a no-go. So you have the two of them. An explosion ends up happening. He ends up taking her to Scotland, to his home, and they end up, coming together. So it did take me a little bit to get back into the story, back into the action-packedness of those Red Rogues and everything like that. But in the end, I was so here for Cecilia and Ramsey to be together. Yes. Together. And then some things are found out, and yeah. But I definitely think you could fall into this one on its own, but it would probably be better if you read the first book first, so that you could, kind of move smoothly into the overarching of the story. The third book doesn't come out until like April or May of next year, 2021. So if it would be better for you to wait, I could probably say wait as well. I don't know. I will be trying to get a copy of that one though too, so I can read that, because I needs to know what happens to all my Red Rogues. And then finally, I finished reading, actually I didn't finish reading it, also I'll tell you why. All Stirred Up by Brianne Moore. I'm placing this in women's fiction, if not just regular fiction, because, ooh, y'all, I DNF'd it at 60%. 60%, you guys! 60%. The cover, super cute. Super cute. Blurb. And y'all know I don't read blurbs, but the taglines and blurbs and was like, oh, this is gonna be fun. It's about a woman that takes over her family business. It all goes under, and she has to go back to the original restaurant that she had as her family, and then the love interest is supposed to be an old flame that is from her town as well, but he's went and made it big as a chef in America, and both of them are back in the same town, and now they're competing. Their restaurants are competing. Dude, 60%. 60%. And that's probably 10, maybe 15% of it I was asleep on. Yes, you heard me correct. This book put me to sleep. It was super repetitive once you sort of got the lay of what the story was about and everything like that. And yeah, it just wasn't, and then it went nowhere. And I don't even know if this review is coherent, because that's how incoherent the story was. It was just boring, and it put me to sleep. So I'm going to give it 2 stars, because it wasn't complete dumpster fire. I'm sure there's an audience for it. If you like kind of chefy stuff, which I do, but this is an abundance of chef stuff. Just gonna say that. And there may be someone that, you know, enjoys this. Maybe. It's getting 2 stars. There was no Steam fan. I had it as an ARC, listened to it as an audiobook. I did enjoy the narrator's voice for this. It's set in Scotland. So, yeah. There is that. Yeah. Sadly, gotta leave the week on a bad note. But what am I currently reading? I am currently reading Tangled by Emma Chase. Yes, I have had those books, that series, on my shelf right there, right over, or yeah, right there, since 2016, and hadn't read the books, but I had met Emma, so I was like, I want your books on my shelf. Okay, so I'm finally reading it. Yep. I am also reading Fire in His Chaos by Ruby Dixon, which is Fire Blood Dragons number 8. I was holding off on this. I was holding off because I believe this was supposed to be the last book. Actually, I think the other, number 7 was supposed to be the last book, but she ended up writing this one. I'm not exactly sure which person we're following, but I do enjoy this series, so I had been holding off. Well, I decided to low-key and was shamed into participating in PNR Readathon, which is being held October the 30th until November the 6th. And the reason I'm low-keying doing it is because my weeks are set up completely different, and when readathons go against those weeks, I tend not to participate in them. But I was shamed by Charles from Books on Stereo, who is a host, and was like, you know, you need to participate in my readathon that I am co-hosting. So I'm low-key participating by reading this book. And then I have a whole bunch of other arcs that came in as well. So there is that. Okay, off on a tangent. Well, have you read any of the books that I have just talked about? Let me know what your thoughts of them were down in the description box. Do you agree with me? Do you not agree with me? What are your thoughts on them? Let's discuss them. Let's talk about them. As always, if you enjoyed the video, please give it a big thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel. Also, there is a feedback form down in the description box so you guys can help me improve my channel. And you know, if you just want to send me a note, you can use that form as well. I do check it every once in a while. All my information is down there. My Ko-fi, my PayPal, my Patreon link, my other socials, Instagram, all of that down in the description box. I also timestamp something, so if you missed a cover and as you were going along and you wanted to hear something specific about one, or you're in the middle of hearing something specific, something jogs your memory and is like, oh, well, I kind of want to hear more, I want to see what cover that was. You pause it, pause the video, find the time that it was paused, and then go to the description box down there and find the book. Yes. So I do that as well. There's also chapters, so if for some reason you just want to watch what I read last week or what I am currently reading, there you go. You have those as well. I greatly appreciate if you just watch the entire video and then, you know, go back and use the description box, because analytics, you know. So, other than that, thank you for watching, and we will see you in the next video.